भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके.
Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, title The Most Confidential Knowledge, and verse number 12. Moghashamogha karmano
Mugashamogha karmano
Mogha jnana vichetasa
Mogha jnana vichetasah
Rakshashim asurim chaiva
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Prakritim mohinim shrita.
Prakritim mohinim sritaha.
Moghashamogha karmano
Mughasha mogha karmana
Mogha jnana vichetasa
Mogha jnana vichetasah
Rakshashim asurim chaiva
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Prakritim mohinim shrita.
Prakritim mohinim sritaha.
Any Prabhuji or Mataji would like to read?
Moghasha mogha karmano
Mugashamogha karmano
Mogha jnana vichetasah
Mogha jnana vichetasa
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Prakritim mohinim sritaha.
Prakritim
Mohinim shrita.
Mogha karmano
Mugashamogha karmano
Karmano
Mogha jnana vichetasha
Mogha jnana vichetasa
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
chaiva
Prakritim mohinim srita.
Prakritim mohanim shrita
Prakritim mohinim shrita.
Mugashamogha
Word by
karmano
word meaning. Moghashamogha karmano
Mogha jnana vichetasa
Mogha jnana vichetasha
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Rakshasim asurim chaiva
Rakshashim asurim chaiva
Prakritim mohanim shritaha.
Prakritim mohinim sritaha.
Prakritim shrita. Mogha asha, baffled in their hopes. Mogha karmana, baffled in fruitive activities. Mogha jnana, baffled in knowledge. Vichetasa, bewildered. Rakshashim, demoniac. Asurim, atheistic. Cha and eva, certainly. Prakritim, nature. Mohinim, bewildering. Shrita, taking shelter of. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and the culture of knowledge are all defeated. Any Prabhuji or Mataji would like to read this page of the purport by Srila Prabhupada?
There are many devotees who assume themselves to be in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, but at heart do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the absolute truth. For them, the fruit of devotional service going back to Godhead will never be tested. Similarly, those who are engaged in fruitive pious activities and who are ultimately hoping to be liberated from this material entanglement will never be successful either, because they deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. In other words, persons who mock Krishna are to be understood to be demoniac or atheistic. As described in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Such demonic miscreants never surrendered to Krishna. Therefore, their mental speculations to arrive at the absolute truth brings them to the conclusion that the ordinary living entity and Krishna are one and the same. With such a false conviction, they think that the body of any human being is now simply covered by material nature, and that as soon as one is liberated from this material body, there is no difference between God and himself. This attempt to become one with Krishna will be baffled because of delusion. Such atheistic and demonic cultivation of spiritual knowledge is always futile.
Thank you, bro. Anyone else would like to read this page?
This is the indication of this verse. For such persons, cultivation of the knowledge in the Vedic literature, like the Vedanta Sutra in the Upanishads, is always baffled. It is a great offense, therefore, to consider Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to be an ordinary man. Those who do so are certainly deluded because they cannot understand the eternal form of Krishna. The Brihad Vishnu Smriti clearly states, Yo Vekti Bhautikim. One second, please. Some pop-up came on from Govindas. Okay, sorry for that. Yo Veti Bhautikam Deham Krishnasya Paramatmanaha Sa Sarvasmad Bahiskaryaha Shrauta Smarta Vidanataha Mukham Tasya Avalokyapi Sa Jelam Snanam Acharet. One who considers the body of Krishna to be material should be driven out from all rituals and activities of the Shruti and Smriti. And if one by chance sees his face, one should at once take bath in the Ganges to rid himself of infection. People jeer at Krishna because they are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their destiny is certainly to take birth after birth in the species of atheistic and demoniac life. Perpetually, their knowledge will remain under delusion, and gradually they will regress to the darkest region of creation.
Thank you, Prabhu. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamiham Dadati Swapadakam Vandeham Shri Guru Yuta Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Vitta Shri Vishaka Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe
Vrindavaneshwari
Vrindavaneshwari Devi Namani Hari
Ramani Hari
Priye
Priye
Vanchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhuveva
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Gadadhar Shivash Adi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. So this is so thank you so much for joining in the aspiration to take over or rather read all the top 108 verses, and this 9.12 stands out as one of the very primary verses to really talk about when Krishna is talking about how atheists, how the people who do not believe in him, how they always envy him, are not going to go through the process of getting the result of their hopes. Mogha Asha, that means any hope the atheist end up doing is not going to be successful. Likewise, Mogha Karmana, that means any activity they end up doing, any work they are going to end up doing, the fruits of the result is not going to be enjoyed by those who are atheist. And likewise, Mogha Jnana, that means who are investing in knowledge, and if they're atheist, they will not be able to do it. And they will develop what kind of tendencies? Vichetasa. They will have demoniac tendencies. They will have asuric tendencies, and they will have mohini. They will have a lot of strong greed. And that's essentially what this verse is talking about. So it's talking about two things, that those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his plans are eventually going to be hopeless, moga asa, baffled in their hopes, which is nothing but hopeless. They will never get the fruitive result of their activities. That's the second thing, moga karmana. And then Krishna is saying they will not get the output of the knowledge, what they are investing in, moga jnana. So that's the negative aspect of being a theist. And then Krishna is talking, and they will develop what kind of qualities? They will develop demoniac qualities. They will develop asuric qualities, and they will develop moha. And so those are the two aspects what we're going to discuss today as we try to go deep into this verse, which is so powerful, because this is a verse which is our leaflet, if I can say, to the people who are atheist. And here Krishna is clearly telling the kind of challenges the atheists are going to follow. Actually, they will be doomed because of what is being quoted in this verse. So let's take it one by one, by the essence of the verse. So those who are unfavorable to God in their following or in their surrendering, in their love, their following aspects are doomed or baffled or bewildered or defeated. Their hopes will be shattered. Krishna is saying those who are unfavorable to God, as you can see here, mogha asha. That means the people who are atheists, who do not believe in the Krishna's plan, their hope is going to be destroyed or doomed or defeated. So they will be essentially hopeless. And the result of the actions, moga karmana, or result of any work they end up doing, that will be nullified, that will be neutralized. And the third thing Krishna is saying, moga jnana, that means any investment they end up doing in the knowledge, that is going to be doomed. Because if you think about it, whenever we are actually the tatastha sakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are the marginal energy. As you know, in a river, you have the water and the land, and the tata, which is actually the bridge or the boundary, is tata. We are the marginal energy of the Lord. If we do not stay steady, we can be pulled into the current. So we have to be steady to stay in the land, so that we get attracted to the inner energy of the Lord. So we are the tatastha energy or tatastha sakti of the Lord, we the jivas, and we have a propensity to go get attracted to the inner energy of the Lord, or the antaranga sakti of the Lord, which is the more purest form of activities. Or we can get devoid of that and stay away. So that is what they end up doing is they go to the negative extent. They get into, so you'll be basically, as you on tatastha sakti of the Lord, we are very shaky in our very approach. And that's the reason why Krishna is explaining, giving a suggestion that if you want to be hopeful in your life, believe in the Supreme, believe in the cause of the Supreme, believe in the cause of the creation which is created by the Supreme. So that means your hopes are going to be instilled. If you want to be hopeless, be my guest. Don't believe me. Krishna is very clearly saying here. And the second thing Krishna is saying, moga karmana. That means any work you invest, if you surrender unto me, you will get benefit, because the reaction of that you are not going to consume. And the third thing Krishna is beautifully explaining, moga jnana. That means any knowledge you're investing, if it is not dovetailed into the purpose of the Supreme, it's going to be useless. I remember Malati Mataji explaining that when they were newly joining, everything they wanted to do, they wanted to roll the chapatis from the kneaded flour and they couldn't get a balan, the rolling. So they found some bottles, empty bottles, and they used that to use it to do chapatis for the Supreme. And this is where they're using everything they have in their possession for the service of the Lord. And when they're entirely doing that, it is very favorable. And look at where they are right now. They're exemplary persons who have spent their life in the purpose of the Supreme. So anything we do, whether we have a matchstick, instead of really burning a cigarette, if you burn it for the incense, instead of having a knife, using the knife for the wrong reason, if you end up cutting an apple and offering, it has different consequences. So the consequence is dependent on the path you end up taking. Like say, for example, you have a complicated maths. The math is a set of calculations which is within the set 1, and then you have a set of calculation set 2, then you have a set of calculation set 3, then you get the result. If your set 1 calculation is wrong, however diligently you make your set 2 calculation or your set 3 calculation, eventually it will be wrong, and you all agree with me. So the beginning or the principle of believing or surrendering or understanding the Supreme is more important. So if your first step in your calculation is right, and gradually everything has to be right, but your first step has to be right. If you take the first step wrong, then eventually all the calculations will go astray. And that is the reason why Krishna is very clearly mentioning a very basic principle, that anything you end up doing, if you surrender unto me, then the reaction of that will be insignificant, and Krishna will take care of that. And when you become a atheist, when you are envious of me, what Krishna is saying, those who do not follow God, they follow their mind, which is influenced by Maya. And what is Maya? Maya is actually the external energy of the Lord. And Maya has 3 parts, as you know. We've spoken about it. The good Maya is the internal energy which we spoke about, staying in the land. But you have a choice. If you do not want to stay in the land and you want to defy, you get caught up with the external energy of the Lord, and the external energy of the Lord will sway you out into the river. And our Tatastha Sakti, which is very shaky, we are the Tatastha and Jivas, we are going to suffer big time. So, and also Krishna is going on to say that if you do not follow me, if you are a atheist, you are going to develop these qualities. In this verse, he's saying you will have Rakshashim, you will have demoniac qualities. So what are the demoniac qualities? Hiranyakashipu, he had strong anger. He has so much anger that he didn't even care for his son. So if you're atheist, Krishna is saying in this prescription verse that you will develop Rakshashim qualities. You'll have strong anger. And Krishna is also saying you will also develop Asurim qualities, which is nothing but defying God. Sura is favorable, Asura is unfavorable. So you will have strong desire, you'll have craving for this, you'll have craving for a car, you're craving for a Mercedes or a BMW. You'll have so much strong desire that the desire will take you nowhere. And what Krishna is saying in the third thing, you'll develop? You'll have Mohinim. In this verse, Krishna is using the word Mohinim. You'll have a lot of moha, you'll have a lot of attachment. You'll have attachment to your son, your daughter, your fridge, your washing machine, your car, and you'll go nowhere. So essentially, Krishna is telling about the problems and also giving you, if you end up doing this, this is exactly what is going to happen. So it's a very simple verse. If you think in a very simple term, this is a very simple verse. So if you are atheist, you're going to be hopeless. Your work is not going to get any fruits, and your knowledge is not going to get any fruits. That's the first part. Mogha Asha, Mogha Karmana, Mogha Jnana. And if you do not believe in me, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, that you will develop these 3 qualities. You'll have strong anger, you'll have Rakshashim qualities, you'll have strong desire, Asurim qualities, and you have strong Moha, Mohinim, which is strong attachment. So what a beautiful verse, if you think about it. You have the problem, and you have the reaction right in this verse. But we are in Kali Yuga. We have a solution. Krishna has a solution for us. And Krishna says, Kalar dosha nidhi rajan asti hi eko mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajit. That means, even if we have so much of challenges, but in this challenging age, we still have some beautiful aspects. The bar is low. Getting Krishna conscious or getting or reaching to the Supreme is very simple. And when that is simple, we can easily do kirtanat. That means we can always remember, we can always chant, we can always meditate, we can always think about Krishna, and always dovetail all our activities in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when you end up doing that, our hopes will be hopeful, our activities will be full of result, and our knowledge will flourish. And that's the only way for this Kalir dosha. What Krishna is saying is Kali has so much of problems. There's so much of problem when you step outside. As you were speaking, you can see you can hear basically the garbage truck. They have really, in order to pick up garbage, they have made it very pop music oriented, and they're saying they're going to come and collect the garbage, the big noise, every step of the way there is a way of doing things. So there is a very complicated way to do simple things in many different places, and as you step outside, there are challenges. There are many challenges. Every step of the way there are challenges. Kalar dosha nidhi rajan. There are faults everywhere in this age of Kali. But in this age of Kali, Kalar dosha nidhe rajan asti hi eka mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajit. The only solution is kirtanat. Only solution is chanting the name of Hari. There is no other way, no other way. So we have some symptoms, we have some outcomes, as Krishna has mentioned so beautifully, and also we have a solution. So we can go on and on, but I thought I would just summarize this for the sake of time and present it in this way so that you understand the essence of the verse. What Krishna is using, Mogha Asha, Mogha Karmana, Mogha Jnana, are essentially the outcomes, and the traits or the symptoms are Rakshashim, Ashurim, and Mohinim. And Krishna is saying, trying to be a taste, you may be showcasing, but behind the scene, these are the reactions you're going to get. And after the reaction, the output is so and so. Very clearly, Krishna is mentioning. And as you are practitioners of this Bhakti Yoga practice, you'll recognize that if you're not really thinking about the Supreme, your mind is not calm, you're feeling hopeless. And this is the biggest problem in this world, the hopelessness. People are there, they have no hope. And that's why Krishna is saying, Mogha Asa. Mogha Asa, that means they'll be defeated in their hope. Mogha Karmana, that means they'll be defeated in their actions. Mogha Jnana, in their pursuit of knowledge, they will say that Pluto is a planet, and after some time, they will not be successful, and they will say Pluto ceased to be a planet. And after 10 more years, they will say Pluto is a planet again. So there are faulty aspects, because when you think about it, if you're looking at a thing, if your spectacle or if your lens is clean, then you can see it clearly. If your lens has dirt and you use a dirty cloth to clean the lens, you will not see it clean. You need some cleansing. And that's where Bhagavad Gita comes into our life and cleanses us in our process to look at a thing. See, this is not rocket science. That's why Bhagavad Gita can be understood by very simple persons, and it cannot be understood by complicated persons, because they will always ask and find issues here and there. But if you're a simple person, you believe in the Supreme, this is very simple. And actually, as practitioners, when your chanting is not going well, when your Krishna consciousness is not going well, when your association with devotees are not well, you will feel hopeless. And I can test to it, I can certify it. When you're not chanting well, your activities are not bearing fruits. You're doing 10 times the same thing to get the same result, not doing 1 time to get the same result. And in you're not remembering well. So your pursuit of knowledge acquisition is faulty, and those are the traits. So if you really want to be hopeful in your life, believe in the Supreme. If you want the result of your fruits of work to multiply properly with a calm, quiet mind, Krishna is saying, Mogha Karmana. That means don't get bewildered. And Krishna is saying, Mogha Jnana. And if you really want to get rid of anger, get rid of desire, get rid of attachment, believe in the Supreme, and all these impurities will go away. So with that, I would like to end here, because I really want to discuss more about it, because you can go on and on, because as Bhagavad Gita is so nectarian. If you chant again and again and again, you'll get more and more and more nectar. So I can go on, but I really want to end here, because I think I have provided the essence of this verse. And also I would like to hear from you about your perception about this verse. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Any questions or comments about this wonderful, powerful verse, Prabhu? Anyone?
Prabhuji, Him Jagannath Prabhu ki jai. Prabhuji, very wonderfully explained the cause, the symptoms, and the solution. You covered very nicely, Prabhuji. Yesterday only I was reading, I wanted to share, Prabhuji, that when we say that from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the Lord Brahma came. So Prabhupada was explaining that atheistic, demonic people, they will say that, oh, that is a story, that is not possible, and all that. So the reply was very very sharp reply Prabhupada gave in that first of all, you are inexperienced in the absolute truth. You should have the taste for the absolute truth. You should have the mercy of the absolute truth. So those who are inexperienced, they cannot understand. And two, they don't believe in the authority, shastras and guru, basically. So because of that, and naturally Guru, Shastra, Sangha are the three tripod for the faith. So the Sangha is, they associate with similar people, saying that, oh, and as Krishna has explained, that they keep falling down and down and down, like it is like a ditch, Prabhuji. Once you fall in a ditch, you keep falling. You cannot come up until somebody gives you a hand. So inexperience with the absolute truth. How do we get the experience with the absolute truth? Is basically by chanting and by understanding. Guru Maharaj was telling Prabhuji, Bhakti Jaru Maharaj, that you cannot understand God and by material knowledge. It has to be revealed to you. So Krishna in your heart reveals it to you, Prabhuji. And that is only revealed when we have true bhakti, when we endeavoring for bhakti. I won't say true bhakti. True bhakti is very difficult, but we should endeavor for it. And automatically Krishna will start revealing that, Prabhuji. And exactly. So that's my comment, Prabhuji.
Yes. Very nicely put, Prabhu. So thank you so much. So when we think Krishna is very dear to all of us, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't discriminate between any of us. He doesn't discriminate between one and the second or the third. He is very dear to all of us. So unless he chooses to reveal himself, however we try, we will not get him. But we can always make an attempt. So So whenever people talk about, Niskam Karma Yoga, Niskam Jnana Yoga, Sakam Karma Yoga, see, beyond all of this is an ability to love him. So what Krishna consciousness is speaking is not just this karma, jnana, this part. What we want to say, what Prabhupada is saying, is we have to build a taste to love him. So when we build a taste to love him, Krishna will reveal himself, like how Prabhu is saying, so that we get the right knowledge in the form of the association or whatever, and then Krishna will reveal himself. So the essence is love. All this typical karma yoga, niskam karma yoga are essentially, they're basically byproducts. The intent is the love. See, however hard you may try, you build a big house, you do sakam karma, you don't do corruption, you build a big house, this, that. But unless you have love in your family, that big house is useless. Likewise, we may do sakam karma yogas, niskam karma, but unless we build an element of love for the Supreme, these are all useless. So as Prabhuji has mentioned, so just trying to echo Prabhuji's thought, it's very important that we build that inner love. ISKCON is basically trying to get devotees to love the Supreme. There's no benefit for ISKCON in that sense. There's no benefit. The benefit is actually us. We are getting benefit. We're getting the taste. We're getting rid of anger. We're getting rid of moha by being. And anytime we do not practice, the anger comes back. Whenever the association is gone, the anger comes back. So that's the process we have to make it go through, because the only way, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Kevalam, Kalau Naste Vanaste Vanaste Bhagati Anita. The only way is to chant so that we build that infinite love. And then, as Prabhuji mentioned, Krishna will reveal himself. Let's do our job of loving him. Then everything will fall in place. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else? Or even Prabhuji, any other points?
Prabhuji, one question though. So when we say like, we don't need to follow the mind, it's kind of Maya, but mind we still need to follow, right? In your job or, in any other thing to analyze something and, basically we use that in the job field to, earn money for the family and all those things. So most of the time we are following the mind, and maybe on that basis we are getting carried out to determine which one is good and bad, and we ultimately doing both the things. But how do we distinguish between to use the mind the right way instead of following in the wrong way, right?
Right. Very good question. The reason why this is a very relevant question is whenever we talk about listening to the mind, that means when you listen, you have some inherent knowledge, and using that input of listening, you respond or react, right? So our knowledge in this age is often flawed. So the material aspect we talked about, Prabhuji, in terms of working, that is fine. You should continue doing that. But whenever we end up doing the work and often get too much attached to that work, so you are doing the work to support your family. When you get too much attached, anxious, you develop some inner symptoms or diseases. You do not get sleep. So that's something what this verse is trying to imply, that anytime you end up doing working to get money to support your family is wonderful. But in order to try to make six-figure, when we try to multiply it, seek more and more, then as we saw in this verse, the greed creeps in. And when the greed creeps in, we look for 200K. And when we look for 200K and we do not get, our hopes are shattered. So these are cumulative effects. So the principle here is do work, but do work with the intent to support your family, because the family is your responsibility, and your family is generated from the seed giving father Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita. He is the seed giving father of all of us, you, your family. So you're doing the work, but you're doing for whom? For your family, and to support where you came from. So if that mindset is like that, no problem. But what happens? That doesn't happen. We get into BMW acquisition, Mercedes acquisition. Then what happens is we get into a vicious circle, and then the mind is actually the cause of the corrupt mindset, if I may use. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
bro.
Prabhuji,
yes, Prabhu.
one point, yeah. In the same direction, Prabhuji, mind will think, Prabhuji. In one way or other, mind is bound to think, because we are Buddha Jivis, right? We are born with a consciousness to think. But we have to dovetail, when it is dovetailed with Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji, when it is dovetailed, then you know what is right or wrong. What you are doing, as Prabhuji has mentioned, otherwise you may be doing for yourself. The moment you put Krishna in the center and you put on the periphery, automatically whatever is needed, your mind is guided. That's what Prabhupada has told, that it has to be revealed, basically. That revelation comes when you dovetail it. That means it's this, like this, Prabhuji, in electronics and engineering. Unless the field, the circuit is aligned, that means the charge and the is aligned, Prabhuji, the flow of electrons won't be there, right? There should be a potential difference, which we have the potential difference. God is higher and we are lower. First of all, we should accept that. If we don't have that potential difference, the electrons won't flow, Prabhuji. And once that potential difference is there, we are the servitors and God is there, then our mind starts thinking, and then we align ourselves. Then the electrons, then there is a drift velocity, right, Prabhuji? The electrons start flowing and there is a drift. That means the drift will push the electrons from one higher potential to lower potential. So similarly, Prabhuji, the reason is we forgot, as Prabhuji has mentioned in the start of the class, we forgot about Krishna. So the moment we align it, automatically things will be revealed. This classic example is, Prabhuji, in the material world, benzene was revealed to the scientist in a dream, Prabhuji. The C6H6 structure was revealed in a dream. It was not, nobody knew, nobody that time predicted the hexagonal structure of the carbon and the hydrogen combination. It was revealed in a dream, Prabhuji. Because he was thinking in the direction day in and day out, he kept that as his focus. Similarly, if we keep Krishna as the focus, the ultimate authority, our mind will be automatically aligned.
Yes,
Thanks. I just wanted to add that point, that keep Krishna in the center, automatically the mind, otherwise mind will act, Prabhuji. There is always two things, Maya or spirituality. That's what Prabhuji gave the example of Tatastha. We either will be dragged into the water or we will be pulled onto the land. How? Our mind will do that depending upon how you align yourself, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Great discussion. Any other question or comment?
Nice class, Prabhuji. I have a small question. I was reading like different articles. It's like Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and he lives in Vrindavan, right? Always like Golok, right? So when Krishna goes to like Mathura, or let's say, right? So there actually he known as Vasudev, right? So just want to know like that Krishna, like Vasudeva is the expansion of Balram, or is the original personality of Godhead?
Actually, Vasudev is actually a different name for Krishna, because he is the son of Vasudev, that's why he's called Vasudev. So Vasudev is actually the name of Krishna. So that's the name of Krishna. So going back to your earlier point, when he comes to Mathura, so Krishna is present in this material world, and Krishna permanently resides in Golok Vrindavan, as you mentioned. So there also they have a replica of this in Golok Vrindavan. So he exhibits his pastime with his associates in Golok Vrindavan. So to answer your question, Vasudev is actually a name of Krishna, is a different name. So there is a difference between Vasudev and Vasudev. Vasudev means Krishna, right? So that's the name of Krishna. So he comes to different places to exhibit his pastime. He still comes, they say Krishna still comes to Vrindavan in UP to exhibit his pastime. Krishna still appears in Jagannath Puri to provide guidance to his associates, and likewise Krishna goes to dress in Dwarka today, and Krishna goes to take bath in Rameshwar. So Krishna exhibits his pastime in this material world and in the spiritual world. And to answer your question, Vasudev is another name for Krishna.
But
Okay,
Prabhuji, from Balaram, there is a Chaturvya, right? Expansion, like
right.
so Vasudev, then Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Sankarsan. So that
Yes.
Vasudev is same as the one that is there in Mathura, and is that same Vasudev?
Yes, see, all these personalities who are expansions are also exhibiting their pastimes. So this is, you can think of, this is a choreographed Leela of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vasudev, Pradyumna, Anirudh, they are the expansion, they are the Chaturvya expansions. So the first expansion, as you rightly mentioned, is Balram. And from the Balram is Vasudev, Pradyumna, Anirudh. So those personalities are there along with Krishna, exhibiting the pastime in various different. So Krishna has told them, you are assigned for these activities. So they have gone out and they are performing. So to answer your question, they are also in Vrindavan, Mathura parlance. So during the Dwapar Yuga, they exhibited these pastimes, these expansions. They exhibited their pastimes 5,000 years ago, and they're still there in Golok Vrindavan, associating Krishna in their activities. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, so my question is that the first Chaturvya expansion, right, the Vasudev. So that Vasudev and Krishna, that Vasudev is present in Mathura, right? Or is it in part of Golok Vrindavan, like the original Krishna, same as Vasudev, or just different?
The original, anybody wants to give any discussion point to this, I welcome them. I have my views, but I really want to hear from others. If Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu or anybody else would like to share or give some wonderful explanation, maybe I'm just not able to get the chord right in my mind about answering Prabhuji's question. If anybody can unmute and speak.
Yeah, Prabhuji, my understanding is, Prabhuji, I don't know, I don't know it is perfect or not, but based on Prabhuji's question, there is a, right, Vasudeva Sutam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam, right? So the Vasudev of the Chaturvya expansion, I think is not in this Leela of the pastimes of Vrindavan Prabhuji. He's there and he has a different pastimes, definitely. But here he's as Krishna only. He appeared in his original form. That's what Prabhupada keeps writing, that he's in his original form. He comes at his scheduled times of the millenniums, and as Prabhuji has told, everything is an expansion of Krishna ultimately. But the Vasudev you are asking the question is he might be, as Prabhuji is told, he might be in some Gopa or some role they must have played. But the Krishna is the original, and he's known as Vasudeva Sutam Kamsajanur Mardanam, right? So he is the son of Vasudev. He's addressed as the son of Vasudev, who might be having some origin, but I have no knowledge of that, Prabhuji, or whether he is related to the Vasudeva Chaturvyuha expansion or not. But Krishna has come as Krishna only in the Vrindavan pastimes. Prabhuji, I don't know whether I addressed the crux of it or not.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think that's how it is. Krishna is the Swayam Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. He's 100% Bhagavan. So he, based on everybody's request, he has come. So he came and he desired to become Devaki Nandan and Jasoda Nandan. That is actually his the original Krishna is there. Before Krishna came, the Balram came. He is the expansion Balram. He came just to, because wherever there is Krishna, there is always Anand says. Like in Rama and pastime, along with Ramji, Lakshmanji is there. So all others are also coming in different leelas, but the Krishna and just whomever were saying like Vasudev Nandan, right? Were saying to Vasudev Nandan were saying, right? That is Purna Purushottam Krishna Bhagavan. That is not the expansion one. That's what actually my understanding is.
Yeah. So these are expansions. They have come to exhibit certain specific leelas. So I think Prabhuji asked at one point in time, is Vasudev in Mathura?
Yes, Prabhuji, actually, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, right? As per like some of the articles, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Okay, so when Krishna going to Mathura, Dwarika, actually the expansion of Krishna goes to Dwarika, Mathura. Okay, not the actual Krishna, the original personality of Godhead. So when the Krishna goes to Mathura or Dwarika, it is kind of the expansion of Balram actually goes to Dwarika or Mathura. Okay, so that is what I read somewhere.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhu. There is a beautiful book of Mathura meets Vrindavan.
Okay.
I can share this book with you. That is written by Gaur Gobind Maharaj. Whatever you are telling now, right? That is beautifully described here. Like when there are so many internal pastimes are there here. If we discuss, that will take an entire class. Maharaj has actually written two sections out of this. You know why how Krishna has never led Vrindavan. Whatever you were saying is 200% right. So there he's saying that wherever in Mathura, that is Devaki Nandan, in Vrindavan, there is Jasoda Nandan. That's how he has differentiated it. How, like when when Vasudeva has got the Krishna, how that Krishna has merged with the Jasoda Nandan Krishna. And when Krishna is living Vrindavan, how he is separate, how, like Vasudev's Nandan, how he has left, and Nandan is staying there. So that very nicely he has described it. So maybe I can share that book with you. You can read Prabhu in detail.
Yeah, so that topic, right? So that specific topic, what Mataji just mentioned, is actually it will take several hours to really get into that topic to explain and put a framework around answering Prabhuji's question. So I think we might park that question for a focused discussion, because that specific topic, Mathura meets Vrindavan where Krishna doesn't leave, it is very esoteric. We have to build a case to really say that Krishna is present here and there. Not many common people will understand that. So I think we have to be cognizant about the context of that with this, because the Vasudev Krishna, who are essentially expansion, in a way, they have not left Vrindavan. But a question asks, during Rath Yatra, if Krishna has not left Vrindavan, why are Radharani and Yashodamai have not eaten and they have shrunk and they want to pull Krishna in the chariot from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan in the form of Rath Yatra? So a lot of questions will come in. So I would like to not go into that at the moment, Prabhuji, because this will be, several hours. Gaur Gobind Maharaj has spoken a lot about that book, and that discussion will also need to be put in the right context so that we understand that thing. If that is exactly how you want to be discussed, we should probably discuss it again, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was actually reading one of the article there. I really confused. I didn't understand properly. Okay, what exactly? Yeah.
Yes. See, and that is exactly, Niranjan Prabhu, that is exactly why Srila Prabhupada has told all his American disciples to, in the beginning, to not go straight into the discussion around Radharani, the discussion around some confidential pastimes, discussion around. So we should start with, 101, probably Bhagavad Gita or Nectar of Instruction, and then dwell a little bit on Srimad Bhagavatam, and then get into Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then all these principles, right, what you are really, discussing, and often I would say struggling, because even I also struggle sometimes, because if I'm not on the right consciousness, it will be very difficult for me to comprehend that aspect. So essentially, Prabhu, we would like to discuss more to really put the context in the discussion so that it really brings around a wholesome conversation. Okay, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your deep question. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, Prabhuji, when we will dive deep into it, Prabhuji, actually there is also a, it is written that actual Krishna who is born is not Devaki Nandan's Krishna, but he is born to Yashoda Maya only. But he went and merged into the, as Mataji was explaining, he went and merged into the a Narayana form, which was with Devaki Mataji. So these, as rightly told Prabhuji, we to understand these, we have to, these are like the deeper level ones. We have to, first our consciousness has to be purified or elevated to understand these things, Prabhuji. We have to really elevate ourselves from a consciousness perspective. Knowledge then will be automatically revealed. It is the consciousness which we have to elevate, Prabhuji, to go into the deep topics. And no matter what, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, Prabhuji. Even the Golok Vrindavan and the Bhumi, they call Bhumi, the Golok Vrindavan on the earth, which is in India. There, they say it is an extension of the Golok Vrindavan only. So Krishna is there. That's the real belief, not belief, Prabhuji, that's the fact. But we should, to understand that fact, we have to elevate our consciousness, Prabhuji.
Yes.
And that comes through sadhana, guru and sadhana.
These are all deep topics, and this is probably a very good topic for a seminar where you're building a case session after session to eventually present this Vasudev, Anirudh, that concept, so that it, and in order to get there, we have to build consciousness so that we can have the right consciousness to even merge and talk about it. Because these are all basic topics, 9.12, but when we get into those things, it becomes very deep, and you do not have the right, prerequisite understanding to dwell onto it. Okay. So, with any other comments? Thank you so much for your participation, and sorry for the inconvenience of delaying it by 2.5 hours to kind of suit everyone's time. Hope we get to meet all of you next Saturday.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Despite of your different schedule, you gave time for the class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I know you were for different purpose you have visited, but still you continued this.
So we'll end here, Prabhu. We'll offer our obeisances in the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha Kalpataru
Yes, yeah.
कृपा सिंधु वैवच पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। भगवद गीता की जय।
हेम जगन्नाथ प्रभु की जय।